Greetings, everyone. I'm Robert Wainscott.
And I'm Matt Haynes.
And this is a pickup shootout. We were going to say that together so it would sound real cool, but
We forgot.
Yeah. So, as Matt knows, but I'll tell you, I thought that if I bought a Marshall 1959 Superlead, and if I got myself a Gibson Les Paul Standard, then I could be Paul Stanley. I mean, not be Paul Stanley, but at least, not Paul Stanley, I'm sorry. Yeah. Actually, I meant to say Ace Frehley. I don't know why I'd ever want to be Paul Stanley.
Yeah, and I thought if I got a Bourbon Burst Les Paul Standard, I would be Dwayne Allman.
Yeah, that seems completely reasonable and logical thinking, at least. So check this out. So I got my Les Paul Standard, and I plugged it into my hand-wired Superlead into a 4x12 cabinet with the Celestion greenbacks, the 25 waters, and that theoretically should be kind of Ace Frehley's rig, and
exactly.
And to my dismay, it didn't really sound like Ace Frehley at all, and I was really disappointed, and I didn't know what to do other than try to buy more things. I thought that would help.
Mm-hmm.
I learned
Usually
that.
Does.
I learned that from you. If you just buy more things.
Yeah.
So the thing I bought, looking into Ace Frehley's history, I realized that he used DiMarzio. I know his were hand wound by DiMarzio himself, but from everything I've read, they're basically super distortions, which are the very first aftermarket pickup that you could get, going kind of back to 72. So by 73, Ace had super distortion pickups in his rig. And what we're going to shoot out today and find out is, was I stupid when I took out the pickups that come with the guitar? And by the way, what happens when you change anything on a Gibson Les Paul?
It loses value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually made this guitar less valuable by putting super distortions in here.
But more valuable to you.
But more valuable to me.
Yes.
So what pickups come with that? And I should mention that we have the same guitar.
It's the identical guitar. Same year, I believe. Different finish, but otherwise the exact same guitar. Mine came with 61 burst buckers. 61 burst bucker Gibson pickups.
Yeah, and that's what this came with, the 61 burst bucker pickups. And even though people believe that these burst buckers are really great pickups, and who am I to argue with them, I just felt that it didn't drive the...
I was going to say you would argue with them given the chance.
I would. I'd argue with them about anything, really. But putting super distortions in to see if it would drive a Superlead in the way that Kiss would have done it. So we're actually here to do a shootout because we have both pickups and we can see if I was right. Because after spending the money, naturally I'm going to believe that I did the right thing, probably even if it sounds worse. So what are we going to do?
We're gonna compare and contrast the two varying pickups in these two identical guitars running through a 59 Superlead Plexi, both in a dirty tone and a clean tone.
And when we're done with that, we're going to run it also through the 30-watt version of a Laney Supergroup. I like how they all these have the name Super in front of them. I've got my Super Reverb, the Supergroup, the Superlead. I'm just feeling super.
When did Superman come out?
Superman came out, I want to say...
70s?
Oh, no. Superman was out in the...
No, I mean the movies.
Oh, yeah, 80s, 70s, 80s.
Okay, so maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe Superman had an influence on naming everything Super.
Could, I mean, there's definitely worse names. So yeah, so we're going to do some shootout stuff. It's pretty easy. If you see these zebra pickups, that's what the black and cream, you know that it's a DiMarzio Super Distortion. If you see the nice looking chrome covered pickups there, you know it's the 61s, and we're going to see how well it drives amps that don't have a master volume. So now that I have my flannel on, we can do a wrap up. So I tell you what, why don't you go first with what did you think in the Superlead Distorted?
Yeah, Distorted, I thought that the Super Distortions had quite the edge to them compared to the 61 burst buckers. I thought they had more of a bite and a bark.
You know what? I would definitely have to agree with you with the Super Distortions in the Superlead. It really does get you. I think it gets you closer to Ace Frehley. 61s are a bit more of a. I don't know. I actually think it's more of a modern take on a humbucker. But so let's continue with Dirty. What were your thoughts on the guitars in the Supergroup?
In the Supergroup, I actually preferred the 61 burst buckers. In all cases, I thought in the heavier realm, they had just sounded fuller and to my ear better. And then in the same thing with the clean, I thought when it was in the cleans that the burst buckers kind of sounded just like a more rich tone, like a finer sound. It just sounded better to my ear. Yeah.
I would agree with you.
Shows what the difference of amp makes. You know, like which amp you're using makes a huge difference.
I thought your burst bucker clean tone in the Supergroup was better than the Super Distortion. I think that cleaned up more. I think it had a lot more clarity there in the Supergroup.
And I also would say that they're less noisy.
Oh, by far. Those are far. These are definitely noise machines. I think it's just meant. It's just designed to push an amp. Yeah. And I think they're
designed to rock and roll all night and party every day.
And that's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
As far as the clean tones in the Marshall Superlead, I think each of them kind of had a place. I thought the Super Distortions in that clean piece you were playing almost had a little more of a Hendrix dirtiness to them. Yeah, you know, Hendrix always had a little bit of grit going on, and I think these, I just don't think these clean up as nicely as those. Those clean up really well. This still kind of has some grit to it, even when you play clean, not green. Although you could be green.
You could do that. But by those, he means the 61 burst buckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any big surprises?
I was surprised how nicely it sounded clean, frankly. And equally as surprised how beautiful the bark and the bite was of the Super Distortions coming through the Marshall. And through the Laney, but I thought that I'm not saying it's a one-trick pony, but I am saying that the Super Distortions are designed to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Yeah, and that's what they do.
They really do. They jam. They sound great driven. That being said, you know, like you said, they both have their place.
They both have their place. Well, hey, thank you guys for tuning in and seeing us in our flannels. One of these days, I'll probably come up with a name for these things that I put out.
And it's a nice day outside. We have absolutely no justifiable reason to be wearing flannels.
No, none whatsoever.
No.
All right, guys. See ya.
Thanks.